Hello everyone, this is the Southern Hellenic and I am back with another video. So, sorry about not doing the final part of that second shrine video. I actually posted a photo of it being complete on Facebook, so I do apologize for that. I will actually be doing a small video tomorrow showing it completed so you guys know what it looks like. For people that don't have Facebook. It's surprisingly a very small group of people. So, I am doing this video because it's the holiday season. I want a little holiday festive thing on. And every year, the debate of is Christmas a pagan holiday pops up because either people don't understand what exactly the church did to make Christianity more acceptable to the masses. And it's always going to be this debate every year: is Christmas a pagan holiday? Should Christians celebrate Christmas? Things like that. And it all depends on the denomination that the person is part of. If this question pops up, is Christmas a pagan holiday? Well, if you really look at what the church did to make Christianity more acceptable to people, then you will see there's a lot of syncretism that goes on in Christianity, especially the early 100 years of Christianity after the fall of the Roman Empire and all that type of stuff. So, Christianity, a lot of the stuff that we associate with the problems of Christianity comes from, I personally believe, from where it came from. And I'm not talking about in Israel, okay? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about from Rome. Rome was a very Rome was a very decadent society. It was a society of excess. Especially you talk about your Roman emperors, they definitely took decadence and excess to extreme. So you have a religion that is trying to get people away from worshiping multiple gods and goddesses, because as long as there was hundreds of thousands of people or millions of people that were practicing the ancient religion, and there was like, the Christians were like the minority, then, your temples stayed open, your festivals continued, and things like that. Well, again, moving away from that, you had people that flat out did not want to give up their ancient beliefs. They didn't want to give up their sacrifices. They didn't want to give up their festivals and their feastings and all this type of stuff. So when we have people that are not historians, when we have people that don't really dive into the history of these holidays, they can go on Facebook and they can say, well, Christmas is not a pagan holiday. But if you definitely talk to any historian, they will say, yeah, it is a pagan holiday. It has its foundations, its root in paganism. And that's why we as Reconstructionists, or even people that are really into, where does these holidays come from, they can say, okay, look, you may not think that these celebrations and observances have pagan origins, but they do. They have so much pagan origin, it's not even funny. In fact, the Puritans, uh, who knew a lot more about the history of these holidays, outlawed Christmas. Christmas was outlawed. And the reason it was outlawed was because it was too pagan. And that is what historians have said why Christmas was banned. And people look at, the twinkling lights and the Santa Claus and all this type of stuff, and they're like, oh, there's no way Christmas was ever banned. It was. And Santa has his Germanic origins, and yes, it knows all about Saint Nicholas and all this. But when you go and bring your religion to the lands of the Germanic tribes, the Scandinavian tribes, the Icelandic tribes, they're going to integrate their own traditions into the holiday. Christianity is not Christianity. Let me tell you that. Christianity is not a pure religion. It is very much steeped in paganism, because that is where it came out of. That is, yes, it came out of like Israel and stuff, but it really took hold and really got seeped into a lot of Roman traditions and customs and things like that. They're definitely pagan. In fact, I read somewhere, I don't know where I read it at, but the church had instituted a Santeria festival, but for really dark and decrepit reasons, and that was to beat Jews. So it's kind of, when you read the history of when you read the history of Christmas, when you read why the church did what they did and all this type of stuff, it really invalidates a lot of people's arguments that Christmas is not pagan. Christmas is very pagan. It is not the birth of Christ. If you really want to celebrate the birth of Christ, look at when the sheep are out and everything, and you will see, there's a good chance, when it was warm out. Also, I really find it very hard to believe that the Virgin Mary would have survived the cold. I don't know how cold it gets in Israel, but I'm pretty sure that it's just this way before global warming, and it was pretty cold in Israel in the wintertime, so I'm going to pretty much guess that she probably would have froze to death. She was supposed to be the vessel of Christ. She's not. The good Lord upstairs didn't give her superpowers. He wanted her to take care of herself. Yes. That's a little Christian humor right there. But is Christmas pagan? Yes, it is. It evolved over thousands, over a millennia. It adopted new customs as it came in contact with other people, and it had to do that in order to become a universalist religion. So anytime that you read some moron that has no degree in history and that hasn't read the books and doesn't care about the history of the Catholic Church, just ignore that person, because yes, it is. In fact, December 25th, I'm going to have a big feast in front of me to, celebrate the Roman holiday of Sol Victus, because that's what I do every year. But it's one of those weird things that pop up, that people just want to deny that Christmas is a pagan holiday, because they don't want to give it up. But they sure as heck will demonize Halloween, even though Halloween was just a day of remembering the dead, but also understanding that the dead have the ability to cause you harm, and that was why people dressed up. It was not a celebration of evil. It was remembering, remembering those that had passed, and also fear that, fear that you weren't going to survive the winter. And in this day and age where we have all this variety, we don't understand why in the world people would be terrified of not having enough to eat. But in this day and age, we also have homelessness and hunger and food issues, and those people, they definitely have to worry about where their next meal is going to come from. But anyways, so I'm only doing this type of video once because I hadn't done it, and second of all, there's a lady on Facebook that says that Christmas is not a pagan holiday. Now, some people on this group will probably, or this channel will probably say, oh, yeah, it has pagan trappings and stuff like that. I don't know, whatever you're going to say. But if you really look at what the church had to do in order to become the dominant religion, it is very much safe to say that they adopted a lot of pagan trappings just to make the religion enticing. Because trust me, there was people that had converted to Christianity that was still, doing the rituals and all that type of stuff. You can have lookouts everywhere, but somebody, one person is going to get under that radar and is going to do what he or she wants to do. You can't prevent them from going up into the mountains and everything. So I am going to end here, and yeah. My advice, once again, will be, do not listen to someone who does not have a degree in history, or has not read the books, or has not, it's all syncretism, it's all, people making, excuses, people claiming that the church didn't co-opt anything, or claim that, because this person, if you have a holiday that has been around for hundreds of years before, or decades before another religion popped up, they're co-opting something that is before them. And it's the same thing, but with a different name. So yeah. So if anybody wants to debate about it, go on ahead. So I will be seeing you guys around. Bye.